Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. I'm so glad you're here again tonight. We're drifting softly into the quiet, intricate world of biochemistry. But don't worry, there won't be any tests. No complicated equations. No need to remember a single thing. Just the gentle rhythm of thought and the calming hum of curiosity. This is your space to rest, to unwind, and to let your mind wander safely into wonder. You might be lying in bed right now. Perhaps the lights are low. Or maybe there's just a faint glow from your phone screen. Your day might have been long, filled with emails, conversations, or the noise of life moving too fast. And now, as the world outside slows down, your body is asking for quiet. Your brain is ready to shift gears from doing to dreaming. Tonight, we'll explore what's happening inside you, quietly and invisibly. We'll talk about how your brain rests, heals, and restores itself, molecule by molecule. How tiny chemical messengers, serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, and others perform a ballet of balance every night, and how this hidden world keeps you alive, creative, and calm, even when you think you're simply asleep. I hope this helps you drift off gently, or at least helps your mind slow down enough to feel safe, safe enough to let go, safe enough to breathe deeply, safe enough to trust that your body knows what to do. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Maybe you're in a city apartment with soft streetlight shadows playing across the walls, or a quiet house where the only sound is the hum of night insects outside. Maybe it's 10 p.m. and you're just settling in, or maybe it's 2 a.m. and you're here because sleep has been shy lately. Wherever you are, this moment belongs entirely to you. You don't need to remember any of this. You don't even need to focus. Just let the words wash over you like soft rain on leaves. Your brain will take what it needs and let the rest drift away. Now, settle in, get comfortable, let your breath slow down, let your shoulders fall away from your ears, and allow the night to cradle you. Let's begin. Have you ever wondered what really happens inside your body when you close your eyes and surrender to sleep? Not just the dreams or the calmness you feel, but the deep, invisible chemistry that hums quietly beneath your skin while you lie still. Your body transforms into a silent laboratory of light and balance. Your brain, once filled with thoughts and noise, begins a delicate conversation with itself in the language of molecules. Every night, this dialogue determines how you feel, how you heal, and even how you dream. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a peaceful forest just after sunset. The air is cool and gentle, carrying the scent of pine and earth. A silver mist curls along the ground, and the first stars shimmer through the branches. This is what your body feels like as sleep begins to approach, a quiet descent from daylight into biochemistry's most elegant design. Neurons soften their chatter, blood slows its rhythm, and chemical signals begin to glow like fireflies in the night. You can almost hear it, the faint orchestration of molecules preparing to rebuild what the day has worn down. As your mind relaxes, a cascade begins deep in the center of your brain. It starts in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of nerve cells that acts as your inner clock. When daylight fades, these cells whisper to the pineal gland, a small, ancient structure shaped like a pine cone. It begins to release melatonin, the molecule of darkness. Melatonin spreads through your bloodstream, telling every organ it's time to rest now. Your body temperature drops slightly, your muscles loosen, and your heart begins to slow its beat. But this is just the beginning. Melatonin doesn't make you sleep, it only opens the gate. Once that gate is open, a second wave begins inside your neurons. Adenosine, a molecule created when your brain burns energy during the day, starts to rise. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds up, pressing gently against your awareness. That's why, after long hours of work, your eyelids feel heavier. Adenosine is your body's natural signal of tiredness. When it binds to special receptors in your brain, it begins to quiet down the circuits that keep you alert. You feel it as drowsiness as the world fades out. Your brain begins a slow synchronization, like a vast orchestra falling into perfect rhythm. Neurons start to pulse together. Waves of delta and theta frequencies roll across your cortex, each wave carrying away fragments of wakefulness, each wave preparing you for the deep, restorative state. The biochemistry of repair takes over. Tiny molecules called cytokines are released, your body's healing messengers. They soothe inflammation, mend tissue, and strengthen your immune system. Meanwhile, your liver begins to filter out toxins. Your heart rests more deeply. Your breathing becomes soft and rhythmic, and your brain, though it looks calm, is astonishingly busy. Proteins are being folded, memories are being sorted, old connections are pruned while new ones are strengthened. In this biochemical night shift, even your emotions are gently rebalanced. Did you know that the neurotransmitters, serotonin and dopamine, are carefully recalibrated while you sleep? These are the same molecules that shape your happiness, motivation, and sense of calm when sleep is deep. Serotonin is restored. When dreams come, dopamine flickers through the brain's reward centers. That's why a good night's rest doesn't just refresh your body, it heals your mood. You literally wake up with a new chemical balance. And there's another layer still. Deep in the hippocampus, the part of your brain that stores memory, a process called neural replay begins. Your brain quietly revisits the day, replaying patterns of thought and action in tiny biochemical bursts. Each memory, emotion, and insight is refiled in a quieter, clearer way. It's as if your mind were cleaning out drawers and putting everything where it belongs. When you wake, you don't remember this work, but you feel it as clarity, as calm, as readiness for a new day. So many tiny details hidden beneath the surface. A single molecule of glutamate sending a spark from one neuron to another. A wave of GABA calming those same circuits to silence. The balance between these chemicals is delicate and beautiful. It's what allows you to dream without acting, to rest without slipping too far away. Your body has evolved this system over millions of years, a biological symphony that begins anew each night when your eyelids fall. And if you could listen closely to your own cells, you would hear not chaos, but coordination, not stillness, but music. Every molecule, every reaction, part of the grand chemistry of being alive. Now, as you lie here, perhaps you can feel that music in yourself. The faint pulse of your heart syncing with your breath. The warmth behind your eyes as your mind begins to drift. You are a living equation written in molecules. A dream made of atoms, a piece of the cosmos studying itself, one heartbeat at a time. It listens to your behavior, too, when you eat, when you move, when you rest. All of these tell your inner clocks what time it is. A late meal can trick your liver into thinking it's still day. A midnight workout can confuse your muscle cells. Your biology is always watching, always syncing itself to your choices. That's why sleep routines are so powerful. Each repetition, same time, same place, teaches your cells to trust the rhythm again. Scientists have discovered that the proteins controlling these rhythms, called clock genes, literally oscillate within your cells. They build up and break down in repeating loops, each loop taking about 24 hours to complete. These clock genes act like a pendulum swinging deep in your molecular machinery. They regulate not only sleep, but mood, metabolism, memory, and even the timing of your dreams. When the pendulum falters, you feel it as exhaustion, fog, or sadness. But when it's strong, everything flows. Your energy rises and falls like tides beneath the moon, steady and predictable, natural and alive. And then comes the suspense, the strange hours between night and morning, when the body is still asleep, but the rhythm begins to rise again. Around 3 or 4 a.m., your body temperature starts to climb. Cortisol begins to increase, gently, like the light creeping over the horizon. This is your body's signal that the new day is approaching. Long before you open your eyes, you are already preparing to wake. Your mind rehearses consciousness, testing neural connections, priming your senses for the return to light. In these last hours of sleep, your dreams often become vivid. Your heart beats a little faster, your breathing shallows. It's as though your body is whispering, "Soon, soon you will return." It's easy to take this rhythm for granted, but when you think about it, you are synchronized, not only with yourself, but with the planet. The same sunlight that triggers photosynthesis in a leaf sets your own clock through your eyes. The same night that tells the ocean's plankton to rise tells your pineal gland to release melatonin. You and the earth share the same breath of time. Every dawn, every dusk, the biochemistry of the planet tunes the biochemistry of your body. You are a living fragment of the planet's heartbeat, and maybe that's the quiet miracle, that your sense of time is not an invention, but a memory. The invisible metronome known as your circadian rhythm. And while you sleep, it rules you completely. Your every cell listens to its signal. Every molecule obeys its silent command. Picture yourself standing on the edge of an ocean at dawn. The first light is faint and silvery, stretching across the calm waves. Each ripple seems to shimmer with slow intention. You breathe in the cool, salt air, and it feels as though the whole world is waking beside you. This is what happens in your body as morning approaches. Deep within your brain, molecules stir awake before you do. The sun hasn't even touched your skin, but light, or even the memory of light, begins to move through you. Your suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, a cluster of about 20,000 neurons sitting just above the optic nerves, is your biological clock. It receives messages directly from your eyes, not from what you see, but from the light itself. Tiny photoreceptors sense brightness and send those signals deep into your hypothalamus, where the SCN waits like a watchmaker each morning as light hits your retina. Your SEN resets the rhythm of your entire being. It begins to quiet melatonin production in the pineal gland. It raises your body temperature. It signals cortisol, the waking hormone, to prepare your body for alertness. You rise not because the world demands it, but because the chemistry of day has begun to hum inside you. And yet, this rhythm is not just a 24-hour loop. It's a universe of nested cycles. Every organ has its own clock. Your liver knows when to detoxify. Your stomach knows when to digest. Your heart, your lungs, your muscles, all ticking in harmony. Even your genes have rhythms every day. Thousands of them switch on and off in time with the light. You are, in every sense, a symphony of time. But what happens when that rhythm is broken? When you stay awake too late, stare at blue screens long after sunset, or cross time zones that confuse your inner sun, your molecular orchestra begins to lose its timing. Melatonin is delayed. Cortisol rises too early. Your cells start working against each other, some still believing it's night, while others think it's day. This biochemical misalignment doesn't just make you tired. It can ripple through your mood, your focus, even your immune system. It's why jet lag feels like your mind is lagging behind your body, because it is, quite literally. The molecules that govern wake and sleep are arguing with each other, each trying to pull you toward their own version of now. But the most fascinating part comes when you drift into sleep. Your circadian rhythm doesn't stop, it transforms in the darkness. Melatonin becomes the storyteller. It flows through your bloodstream like midnight ink, signaling to every cell, rest, repair, and rebuild. And as it does, your core temperature falls, your heartbeat slows, and your body begins to prioritize healing. Proteins are synthesized, DNA is repaired, and growth hormone, the secret architect of regeneration, rises like a tide. This is why the hours before dawn are the most restorative. Your body is in its deepest conversation with itself, a conversation written entirely in chemistry. Did you know that even your immune cells follow this rhythm? During sleep, certain white blood cells become more active. They circulate more slowly, but more precisely, seeking out damaged cells, cleaning the body as you dream. If you've ever noticed that you feel worse when you stay up late, that's not your imagination. You've interrupted the immune system's nightly patrol. The chemistry of defense can't do its job until the orchestra of sleep begins. And still, there's another layer. Your circadian rhythm doesn't just respond to light. Did you know that your skin, too, follows the same rhythm while you dream? Blood flow to your skin increases, collagen production accelerates, and micro tears from sunlight or stress are quietly repaired. This is why sleep deprivation often makes skin look pale, dry, and aged. Your night shift healers never got their chance to work. But beyond the mechanical beauty of repair, there's an emotional story unfolding. Because the molecules involved in this nightly restoration are also tied to your mood and memory. When serotonin is converted into melatonin to lull you into sleep, it also sets the stage for the release of growth hormone. This hormone is like a gentle architect, rebuilding muscle fibers, strengthening bones, balancing metabolism. It's as if your entire body is whispering, "It's okay now. You can heal." And deeper still, inside your cells, a silent drama unfolds between oxidants and antioxidants. By day, Metabolism creates reactive oxygen species, sparks that can damage DNA by night. Enzymes like superoxide dismutase and glutathione peroxidase sweep through, extinguishing the embers, repairing the delicate machinery. Imagine an ancient city glowing under moonlight. Janitors moving quietly through narrow streets, sweeping, polishing, rebuilding. Not for applause, but for survival. Now imagine your neurons, each one connected to thousands of others, exchanging chemical whispers through neurotransmitters. During the day, these connections are overloaded. Every thought, every choice adds weight to their network. But in sleep, unused connections are trimmed away, a process called synaptic pruning. It's like a gardener carefully clipping overgrown vines so that what remains can thrive. And as this happens, your memories reorganize. The emotional weight of the day dissolves, and your mind clears for tomorrow's dawn. If you could watch it unfold, it would look like starlight flickering in reverse. Memories rearranging themselves like constellations shifting across the night sky. Some fade, some burn brighter, but all find their rightful place. Even your heart joins the rhythm, beating slower, steadier, guided by parasympathetic signals that whisper calm through your veins. Blood pressure drops, cortisol fades, your breathing deepens. The entire orchestra of your body plays in minor tones, soft, slow, healing. But what's most extraordinary isn't just that this happens, it's how effortlessly it happens. No command is needed, no conscious order. You simply surrender, and biochemistry takes over. Imagine if you could see your body's inner world as you sleep, the soft glow of ATP being made in mitochondria, the quiet unfolding of RNA into protein, the endless dance of calcium ions opening and closing the gates of life. And in this dance, there is purpose, because sleep doesn't only restore, it teaches. Your immune system learns which invaders to recognize next time. Your brain practices patterns it explored in waking life. Your heart memorizes new rhythms of calm. Everything that is you, both physical and emotional, becomes slightly more whole by dawn as you drift deeper now. Imagine floating through that luminous forest again, where every leaf is a molecule, every breeze is an enzyme at work. The air hums with life, patient and precise. It's a universe that asks nothing of you except stillness. The night is your ally, and sleep, the secret language of healing, is your translation. And as the sounds around you soften, your mind feels lighter, your body calmer. Each breath a reminder that deep within, you are made of processes so beautiful, so intricate, that even silence itself pauses to listen. Now, without hurry, let's move gently forward, deeper into the mysteries that keep you alive. In the next part, we'll explore how the chemistry of dreams reveals the secret purpose of memory, and how, perhaps, your sleeping mind might be more awake than you think. Have you ever wondered why your dreams feel so real, so vivid that when you wake up, you can still feel the echo of a place that doesn't exist, or the warmth of a voice that isn't really there? Science tells us that dreams are born from chemistry, from electrical storms in the brain, from the gentle ballet of neurotransmitters. But when you experience them, they feel like something far more mysterious. Tonight, we step into that borderland between reality and imagination, the quiet realm where your sleeping brain becomes both storyteller and scientist, testing, healing, and reweaving the fabric of who you are. Picture yourself walking down a long, dim hallway. The air is cool, and the walls hum with faint color, soft blues, pale violets, the shades of thought itself. Each door you pass is a memory, some open slightly, showing glimpses of moments you've lived, others stay closed, waiting for a night when your mind decides to revisit them. You pause at one of the doors. It's glowing faintly, familiar yet strange. You reach for the handle, and as it opens, you realize you've stepped into a dream. Inside your sleeping mind, the world reshapes itself constantly. Neurons that fired together during the day begin to replay their patterns, but now they're free from logic. In REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, your brain becomes almost as active as when you're awake. Yet your body is paralyzed, a safeguard to keep you from acting out the dream. This paradox, a racing brain in a motionless body, is one of biology's most extraordinary balancing acts. Neurochemically, it's a masterpiece. During REM sleep, levels of acetylcholine rise sharply, stimulating the cortex. This surge fuels vivid imagery and emotional intensity, while at the same time norepinephrine and serotonin drop, loosening rational control. It's as if your mind deliberately shuts off logic so it can explore what reason would normally silence. In this altered chemistry, memories blur, emotions fuse, and imagination becomes the dominant sense. But here's the part that's even more fascinating. Dreams aren't random. Your brain uses them to rehearse survival. Psychologists call it the threat simulation theory. In ancient times, dreams may have helped our ancestors practice escaping predators or navigating danger. And even today, your nightmares might simply be your brain stress testing your reactions. Like a silent guardian running safety drills in the background of your consciousness. At the same time, REM sleep plays another role. It's the brain's emotional detox. By reactivating the amygdala, the emotional center, and hippocampus, the memory center, your mind carefully processes strong feelings from the day. It takes the sharp edges off pain, smooths out fear, and files away joy in long-term storage. That's why, after a night of deep, dream-rich sleep, a memory that once hurt can suddenly feel lighter. The chemistry of dreaming literally dissolves emotional charge. Imagine now that you could stand inside your own dreaming brain. Neurons would flash like city lights seen from orbit, pulses of light racing across highways of axons, tiny chemical bridges forming and fading in milliseconds. You'd see dopamine flares illuminating moments of excitement, serotonin shadows softening the edges of sadness, and waves of GABA, a calming neurotransmitter rolling like mist, soothing electrical storms. And somewhere in that shimmering network, your sense of self dissolves during REM sleep. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and self-awareness, quiets. This allows the dream to take over, unfiltered, without the rules of waking life. You can fly, you can breathe underwater, you can meet people who are gone, and none of it feels strange, because the brain's inner critic is finally silent. But dreams also act as a creative forge. Did you know that scientific breakthroughs, music, and art have often emerged from dreams? Einstein once described daydreaming about riding a beam of light before developing the theory of relativity. Paul McCartney dreamed the melody of yesterday, Dmitri Mendeleev saw the periodic table in a vision while asleep. During REM, your brain's default mode network, the system that links memory and imagination, comes alive, building bridges between distant thoughts. The impossible becomes possible in this way. Your sleeping mind is still thinking, still learning, but in a poetic language. It combines memories, emotions, and sensations like a painter blending colors that don't exist in waking life. And sometimes those paintings stay with you long after dawn. But here lies a mystery still unsolved. Why do some dreams predict our emotions before we even feel them? Why do we dream of loss before it happens, or of peace before it arrives? Some neuroscientists believe dreams are simulations for emotional resilience, preparing us subconsciously for what's to come. It's not magic, but it's something very close, a form of molecular foresight built into our neurochemistry. Now, imagine drifting deeper into this dream forest, where every neuron is a glowing thread, weaving and unweaving the tapestry of you. Your memories float like lanterns, some bright, some fading. Your emotions move like tides, sometimes gentle, sometimes powerful, but always flowing toward balance. And as you drift, you realize that every image, every sound, every impossible landscape in your dreams is built from the raw chemistry of your brain, proteins binding, electrical potentials shifting by fractions of a volt. Yet somehow, those tiny reactions create entire worlds. Isn't that astonishing, that molecules can dream? The poetry of it is breathtaking. In the deep night, when your consciousness rests, your biology becomes a poet, your brain a canvas, your body a listener to stories told in voltage and rhythm. It's as if evolution itself left a message in your blood that even rest can be an act of creation. And perhaps that's why dreams feel spiritual, even to those who think scientifically. Because they remind us that reality isn't fixed, it's made and remade every night inside our minds. Now, as you lie still, your heart beats slow and steady, your breathing soft and deep. Imagine you're standing once more at the door of that glowing hallway. You turn back to look at all the rooms, all the dreams that have ever passed through you. And you feel a quiet gratitude. Each one has taught you something, each one a whisper from the deeper layers of your mind. Something your body inherited from the spinning earth itself. You are not separate from the rhythm. You are the rhythm, each breath, each heartbeat, each rise and fall of sleep, a perfect echo of the planet turning beneath the stars. So, as you rest now and feel the rhythm of your own breathing, remember that your body already knows the time. It has known it since before you were born, long before clocks and alarms and schedules. There was only light, darkness, and the quiet turning of the world. And that turning lives in you still. So let go of the idea of control. You don't need to command your sleep. Your biochemistry already remembers the dance. All you have to do is listen, breathe, and allow it to guide you home. Now the rhythm softens again, night deepens. And within this dark harmony lies another mystery waiting, the architecture of dreams. How your mind builds stories from the chemistry of time. We'll drift there next, into the next gentle movement of your sleeping symphony, where the night's molecules give birth to imagination itself. So stay still, stay peaceful, and let's continue our slow descent into the next layer of sleep's quiet science. Have you ever wondered what really happens inside your cells when you drift into sleep? How a body that once felt tense and restless suddenly begins to feel soft, weightless, and alive again beneath the quiet rhythm of your breathing. Entire biochemical symphonies begin to play. Invisible to your eyes, yet vital to your being, your cells hum with purpose, performing work so ancient and precise it might as well be a sacred ritual. Tonight, we journey deeper, past the bloodstream, into the silent workshops where your body repairs and renews itself. Imagine yourself walking through a glowing forest of light. Each tree is a cell, each branch a filament of DNA, weaving stories of who you are. The air shimmers faintly with bioluminescent dust, and as you walk, you can hear the faint electric hum of mitochondria, the tiny engines of life, whir softly in the background. It's peaceful here, but there's movement too, a gentle pulse, like a heartbeat that keeps everything alive. In the daylight, your cells are busy surviving, taking in oxygen, processing sugars, firing neurons, running the machinery that lets you think, move, and speak. But when you sleep, something changes. Your body no longer fights the world. Instead, it turns inward, like a workshop that closes its doors to customers so it can quietly fix its own walls. Inside, enzymes awaken, messengers run from one molecule to another, and damaged proteins are tagged and dismantled. Your body is an astonishing recycler. Every night, roughly 330 billion cells are replaced, about 1% of your body. It's an ongoing construction project happening under the moonlight, guided by biochemistry so intelligent it needs no thought. The blueprint is encoded in every strand of DNA, but it's sleep that gives permission for the builders to work. And here's where it becomes even more mysterious. In the stillness of sleep, certain genes turn on that remain silent during the day. They're like nocturnal workers, the repair genes, the immune genes, the detoxifiers. Studies have shown that during deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic system, a hidden network of cleansing tunnels, opens wide. Cerebrospinal fluid rushes through brain tissue like a slow river, washing away waste molecules like beta amyloid, which are linked to aging and memory loss. It's as if the universe inside your head opens its own tide each night, drawing in purity, releasing what's no longer needed. The door closes gently, and you drift further down the corridor, the air becoming lighter, the walls fading to starlight. In the next chapter, we'll follow where those dreams lead, into the mysterious link between memory and time, and how your sleeping brain might hold the secret to why we age, remember, and forget. Have you ever wondered what time really means inside your sleeping body? When your eyes close and the world fades, does time slow? Or does it simply stop existing for a while? When you drift through dreams that feel like hours but last only minutes, your brain isn't following the same clock that rules your waking life. Tonight, we're diving into the hidden science of biological time, the circadian rhythm, that quiet, invisible clock ticking inside every cell, orchestrating your sleep, your energy, even your emotions. It's a rhythm older than humanity itself, written in the chemistry of light and darkness. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a vast ocean at twilight. The sun has just slipped beneath the horizon, and the first stars blink awake. The waves roll in and out with ancient precision, steady, patient, eternal. This is what your body feels like beneath your awareness. A living tide of molecules rising and falling with the hours of the day. No matter where you are in the world, this internal sea moves to its own rhythm, one that began billions of years ago when the first single-celled organisms learned to sense the coming of dawn. Inside you, that rhythm still beats. Every organ, your heart, your liver, even your skin follows its own internal schedule. All of them coordinated by a master conductor deep in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a small cluster of about 20,000 neurons located in the hypothalamus. It's only the size of a grain of rice, but it controls the symphony of your day. During the day, sunlight hits your eyes, not just the parts that let you see, but special receptors that detect brightness. These signals travel directly to that tiny nucleus, which releases instructions: wake up, release cortisol, raise body temperature, quicken the heart, sharpen attention. It's the dawn command of the body, a biochemical sunrise inside you. But as darkness falls, something remarkable happens. The same clock flips its chemistry. It begins to release a signal to the pineal gland, a tiny, pinnacle-shaped organ nestled deep in your brain, to start secreting melatonin, the hormone of darkness. Melatonin doesn't force you to sleep. It simply whispers to your body that night has come, and with it, the permission to rest. The shift is gradual, and you can almost imagine the molecules themselves exhaling. As melatonin levels rise, your core body temperature drops by a degree or two. Your muscles loosen, your heart rate slows, and your brain waves begin to lengthen. You start to feel drowsy, not because of fatigue, but because every cell in your body is aligning with night. But what happens if that rhythm is broken? What if light intrudes when it shouldn't? Think about the glow of your phone at midnight. The blue light it emits mimics daylight, confusing the ancient receptors in your eyes. It tells your brain, falsely, that morning has come. Melatonin production halts. Cortisol rises again, and your body, loyal to the signal, wakes, even though it's still dark outside. It's like a conductor suddenly switching the orchestra's tempo mid-song. Over time, this disruption adds up. Scientists call it social jet lag, when your body's biological clock is out of sync with your schedule. Studies show that chronic misalignment can affect everything from mood to metabolism. Your cells, which expect cycles of repair at night and activity by day, grow confused. Oxidative stress builds. Inflammation increases. Your system begins to fray at the edges. All because the ancient dance between light and dark has been disturbed. Yet, when aligned, the rhythm is pure harmony. Inside your liver, enzymes peak at night, detoxifying the bloodstream. Your muscles rebuild. Guided by rhythmic bursts of growth hormone, your brain consolidates memories, and your immune cells patrol more efficiently. Each process begins and ends on cue, as if following an unseen metronome. But there's another layer of mystery. This rhythm doesn't just exist in the brain. Every single cell in your body contains its own tiny clock, made up of clock genes that switch on and off in 24-hour cycles. These genes, like purr, cry, clock, and BMAL1, are the molecular gears of time itself. Inside the nucleus of each cell, they activate proteins that build up during the day, then degrade at night. The pattern repeats endlessly. creating oscillations that tell each cell when to work and when to rest. This means your body isn't ruled by one clock, but by billions, all synchronizing through chemical signals and hormonal pulses. If you could see it, it would look like a city scene from above at night, lights flickering in precise patterns, neighborhoods of cells waking and sleeping in harmony. It's breathtaking, a choreography so ancient and complex that it predates even multicellular life. And here's where the suspense deepens. What if time itself isn't constant within you? Recent studies suggest that certain processes, like DNA repair or protein synthesis, speed up or slow down depending on when they occur. The same medication taken in the morning can act differently if taken at night, because your body's chemistry shifts with the hour. This field, called chronobiology, is revealing that time is not just something we live in, it's something we are. Your body is a time machine made of cells, each ticking gently toward balance. But there's a spiritual elegance to this, too. When you sleep in alignment with darkness, you're not just resting, you're participating in the oldest rhythm of Earth, the same cycles that guide tides, flowers, and migrating birds. In that sense, every night's rest is an act of cosmic synchronization. You are, in a literal, biochemical way, in tune with the planet. And perhaps this is why sleep feels sacred, because it reconnects us to a natural order that's easy to forget in our illuminated, restless age. Imagine, for a moment, that you are floating above the earth, watching its shadow move slowly across oceans and continents. As one side wakes, the other sleeps. It's a breathing planet, inhaling light, exhaling darkness. The same rhythm that pulses within your veins. Now, as you drift deeper into your own rhythm tonight, feel the weight of time fall away. Your heart sinking with the heartbeat of the earth, your breath following the waves of its tides. This is not the end of the journey, it's the pulse between moments, the quiet heartbeat of the universe within you. And as you rest in that awareness, the next mystery begins to whisper. How do these cycles of chemistry and light shape not just your sleep, but your emotions, your dreams, even your destiny? In the next part, we'll step inside that question, exploring how your brain's internal chemistry of mood, serotonin, dopamine, and beyond dances in perfect rhythm with the night, shaping not just how you sleep, but who you are becoming. Have you ever wondered why some nights your mind feels peaceful and clear, while on others it spins endlessly, tangled in thought? Why certain evenings feel filled with calm gratitude and others heavy with quiet sadness? What if the difference isn't simply emotional but chemical? Tonight, we travel into the secret alchemy of your mood, the delicate dance of neurotransmitters that rise and fall with your sleep, the invisible orchestra that determines not just how you rest, but how you feel when you awaken. Imagine standing inside a cathedral of light, your brain vast and intricate, where every neuron is a flickering candle, their flames pulsing in rhythm. The air hums with soft electric whispers. Dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine, the invisible messengers of emotion, move through the space like threads of colored smoke, each one shaping the tone of your mind, weaving chemistry into consciousness. And all of them, even now, are guided by the rhythm of sleep. As daylight fades, your body begins a slow, ancient ritual. Serotonin, the neurotransmitter that brings calm focus during the day, starts its transformation. Inside your pineal gland, under the hush of darkness, serotonin is converted into melatonin, the molecule of rest. This shift is more than biochemical. It's emotional, because as serotonin levels fall, your brain gently releases its grip on wakefulness. The edges of thoughts soften, your emotions settle, and what remains is quiet surrender. But the story doesn't end there. While you sleep, this balance continues to evolve. Deep within the midbrain, dopamine, the molecule of motivation, reward, and curiosity, pulses in slow waves, unlike the sharp bursts you experience during waking joy or achievement. These waves are steady, rhythmic. They help the brain consolidate positive learning and emotional balance. If serotonin is peace, dopamine is purpose, and together they create the landscape of your inner night. Now imagine, somewhere deeper, in the calm darkness of the brainstem, another molecule rising, GABA, the great silencer, the guardian of rest. Its role is to quiet the neurons that chatter too loudly, the endless mental noise that keeps you awake. When GABA binds to its receptors, it opens gateways in neurons that allow negative ions to flow in, calming the storm. It's like throwing a soft blanket over a fire, not to extinguish it, but to let it glow gently instead of burning wild. You may not realize it, but every peaceful night of sleep is a triumph of balance, an alliance between molecules, each one whispering its own role, each one guided by the chemistry of darkness and time. When this harmony is disturbed, when stress hormones like cortisol surge late into the night, they can steal the stage from the sleep messengers. You toss, you turn, you worry, not because you're weak, but because your biology is playing the wrong song. And here's where suspense turns into revelation. Did you know that chronic stress can literally change the shape of your brain? High cortisol levels shrink connections in the hippocampus, the region tied to memory and calm reflection, while strengthening the amygdala, the alarm bell of fear. But sleep, especially deep non-REM sleep, can reverse this. It restores balance to the brain's emotional circuits, trimming the overactive alarms, reinforcing pathways of peace. The brain heals itself from fear through sleep, one slow wave at a time. In this way, the chemistry of sleep is also the chemistry of resilience. As you dream, neurotransmitters like which sharpen alertness during the day, are temporarily suppressed. This creates a calm, almost anesthesia-like environment in which emotional memories can be replayed safely. It's the brain's therapy session, the replay without the pain, the rehearsal without the fear. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast lake just before dawn. The water is perfectly still, reflecting the last few stars of the night. The air is thick with mist, soft and silent. This lake is your consciousness, calm, reflective, and deep in the day. Its surface ripples with thought and movement. The winds of attention stir it into waves. But at night, as you drift toward sleep, those winds grow quiet, the ripples fade, and awareness begins to sink beneath the surface. The process begins almost imperceptibly in the first minutes of drowsiness. The alpha waves of relaxed wakefulness, gentle rhythms pulsing at about 8 to 13 cycles per second, begin to slow. As they fade, theta waves rise from the depths of the brain. Slower, dreamier, more fluid, your consciousness starts to loosen its boundaries. It's that hazy moment when you might still hear a sound in the room. Yet it feels far away, like you're listening through water. Scientists call this the hypnagogic state, a doorway between worlds. In this space, fragments of imagery flash behind your closed eyes. Shapes, faces, sounds that make no sense, but feel oddly profound. Your brain is still partially awake, but its grip on logic is slipping. Electrical networks that normally separate reality from imagination begin to blend. The thalamus, which acts as a sensory gatekeeper, starts to close, filtering the outside world. This is your consciousness beginning its descent, not into darkness, but into a deeper kind of perception. Once you cross fully into sleep, something astonishing happens. Your brain doesn't turn off, it reconfigures. During non-REM sleep, awareness thins out to the faintest thread. The default mode network, the system responsible for self-reflection, quiets down. Your sense of I fades, replaced by the hum of automatic restoration. This is the closest you come to nothingness while still alive, a biochemical silence that heals. Yet, even in this silence, the brain remains active. Slow waves sweep across the cortex like tides, synchronizing millions of neurons in perfect rhythm. It's a communion of cells, each pulse reinforcing the next. And while your conscious mind is gone, your deeper intelligence, the part that keeps your heart beating, your memories sorting, your body repairing, remains fully awake. But then, hours later, the quiet begins to stir. Like wind over still water, and your consciousness begins to reform. In REM sleep, when you begin to dream, the limbic system ignites emotion, memory, and imagery surge to life. Electrical activity returns to near-waking levels. Yet the prefrontal cortex, the rational gatekeeper, stays subdued. Your awareness rises again, but without its armor of reason. It's like a ghost awakening inside its own imagination. What's extraordinary is that your sense of self also shifts. In dreams, you can be anyone, anywhere, unbound by time or physics. Neuroscientists believe this happens because of the unique neurochemical signature of REM sleep. Acetylcholine floods the brain, stimulating vivid imagery, while serotonin and norepinephrine remain low, creating a mental landscape that's emotional, surreal, and deeply fluid. This is a different kind of consciousness, one that doesn't just observe reality, but creates it from within. Some researchers even describe dreaming as a second consciousness, one built for simulation, healing, and emotional rehearsal. In this state, you are both the dreamer and the dream, both the author and the story, and yet, sometimes, consciousness refuses to surrender fully. That's when lucid dreaming occurs. It's a rare state where the dreaming mind becomes aware of itself. The prefrontal cortex flickers back online, just enough for you to realize, I am dreaming, but not enough to wake you. Studies show that during these moments, the brain enters a fascinating hybrid rhythm, REM waves mixed with bursts of beta activity, as if two worlds are overlapping for an instant. You see, each night, as you pass through stages of REM and non-REM sleep, your emotions are literally being rebalanced. Serotonin and dopamine circuits are recalibrated. The amygdala's fear signals are softened, and new associations form, ones that let you wake up feeling lighter, more grounded, less haunted by yesterday's storms. It's almost mystical that molecules so small can decide the color of your thoughts. the texture of your dreams, the weight of your heart. But there's more. Scientists have discovered that certain mood disorders, like depression, are deeply tied to disrupted sleep cycles. In fact, one sleepless night can trigger the same chemical imbalances seen in anxiety. Serotonin production drops, dopamine becomes erratic, and the brain's emotional thermostat falters. Yet, paradoxically, the right kind of sleep, slow wave, uninterrupted, can restore these same pathways with the precision of medicine. So when you lie awake, heart restless, mind heavy, it isn't just psychological, it's molecular. Your neurotransmitters are whispering in confusion, and all your body wants is rhythm again, a return to the chemistry of peace. And this is where the beauty of sleep deepens. It's not passive. It's not an escape. It's a process of active recalibration. When you surrender to sleep, you're not retreating. You're participating in your own healing. Your neurons are sculpting new pathways of calm, strengthening emotional resilience, refining the way you process the world. Picture this. Your brain as a vast nighttime city, its lights dimmed, the streets quiet, repair crews moving through every district. Serotonin sweeps the avenues, dopamine rewires the bridges, GABA dampens the sirens of worry, and oxytocin, the molecule of trust and connection, flows through like gentle rain, washing away tension, reconnecting you with empathy, with peace, with self. And perhaps that's why you sometimes wake after deep sleep with a strange clarity, a feeling that something has been resolved, not in words, but in chemistry. Your molecules have spoken to one another through the language of silence. As you breathe now, feel that orchestra within you, the steady rhythm of balance, returning your body and mind finding their shared melody again. This is what sleep is for, not to escape life, but to remember how to feel it gently. And as you drift even deeper, imagine your neurotransmitters as tiny fireflies dancing through a night forest, each one carrying a spark of emotion, some bright with joy, others dim with sorrow, but together they form a constellation, a living map of who you are, who you've been, and who you're becoming. The night hums quietly, the chemistry of feeling merges with the rhythm of breath, and you realize your emotions aren't enemies to be fought. They are waves in the ocean of your biochemistry, each one rising, falling, finding its place. Now, as the currents settle, your mind glows softly, balanced, still. A quiet awareness spreads through you. You are safe. You are healing, and your molecules, those invisible storytellers, are writing tonight's chapter in the language of calm. Let go now and float with them, for in the next part of our journey, we'll dive into how the brain's chemistry doesn't just shape emotion, but consciousness itself. We'll explore the thin, glowing line between waking and dreaming, and how, in sleep, your awareness may not vanish at all, but simply drift to another world entirely. Have you ever wondered what consciousness truly is? That strange, flickering light of awareness that makes you you. What happens to that light when you fall asleep? Where does your mind go when dreams begin and logic fades? Does consciousness disappear, or does it transform into something more fluid, more primal? Tonight, we're venturing into one of the deepest mysteries of sleep, the shifting borders between waking and dreaming, awareness and oblivion, the subtle chemistry that allows your mind to dissolve, then reassemble every single night. Lucid dreamers describe the feeling as both thrilling and sacred, flying through landscapes of pure imagination, speaking to figures born of memory and emotion, bending the very fabric of their inner reality. Yet all of it governed by the same biochemistry that keeps your cells alive. It's in this space that science meets mystery, where the chemical becomes spiritual. Because if the brain can create a universe so vivid, so complete while you sleep, what does that say about the waking world? Perhaps consciousness isn't something your brain produces, but something it tunes into, like a radio catching frequencies from a deeper source. Some neuroscientists propose that consciousness is a form of energy field, one that the brain interacts with rather than generates, and sleep, particularly REM, might be the state where this field becomes most accessible, where the signal grows stronger as the noise of daily thought fades. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: consciousness is not static, it's fluid, and sleep is the ocean it moves through. During waking life, awareness is narrow, focused on survival and meaning, but in dreams it expands, merging emotion, memory, and imagination into a seamless whole. Think of your mind as a prism. By day, it channels white light, focused, singular, controlled. By night, that light scatters into color, infinite hues of perception that together reveal the full spectrum of your being. And perhaps that's the purpose of it all. Each night, consciousness dissolves into sleep, not to vanish, but to remember its vastness, to remind you that awareness isn't limited to the small world of waking thought, but part of something immeasurably larger. Now, imagine yourself floating again on that still lake, only now it glows faintly with starlight beneath the surface. You can see the reflections of your dreams, shimmering, alive. You reach out, and the water ripples for a moment. You see everything at once: your past, your future, your fears, your joys, all mirrored in that glowing depth. And then it stills again. This is your consciousness, eternal, fluid, self-renewing. The night deepens, and you drift further, lighter, carried by the currents of your own awareness. Every breath, a wave; every heartbeat, a reminder that you are both the dreamer and the dream. And as your thoughts grow quiet, one question lingers in the darkness: if consciousness can dissolve and return each night, then what, truly, are you? In the next part of our journey, we'll descend even deeper into the chemistry of memory, to uncover how your sleeping mind holds time itself, and why forgetting may be one of nature's greatest gifts. Have you ever wondered where your memories go when you sleep? How your mind decides what to keep and what to let go? Does it gently file away the stories of your day? Or does it rewrite them entirely while you dream? Tonight, we drift into one of the most delicate and awe-inspiring mysteries of the human brain: how sleep shapes memory, how your mind becomes both an editor and a storyteller in the dark. Imagine yourself walking through an ancient library lit by flickering candlelight. The air smells faintly of parchment and rain. Endless shelves rise into the darkness, each one filled with moments, laughter, faces, fragments of conversations, the taste of coffee, the sound of your own voice from years ago. This is your hippocampus, the guardian of memory, and every night, while your body rests, this library comes alive. During sleep, glial cells, the caretakers of the brain, become highly active. They clear away molecular waste that accumulates while you're awake, a process known as the glymphatic system. Cerebrospinal fluid pulses through the brain like an invisible tide, washing away toxins linked to stress and even neurodegenerative diseases. It's the brain's nightly cleansing ritual, a reset for memory and emotion alike. So while you sleep, two miracles unfold: the emotional rewiring of REM and the physical cleansing of deep sleep. Together, they allow the mind to awaken lighter, clearer, more open to new learning. But here's where the mystery deepens. Memories are not stored as single units, but as distributed patterns across millions of neurons. Every time you recall something, you partially rewrite it. Sleep, then, doesn't preserve the past, it reconstructs it, reshaping your identity with each night's rest. You are, in a very real sense, a story being rewritten while you dream. Think about that. Each night, your mind deletes, edits, and reimagines you, preserving what matters and dissolving what doesn't. Sleep isn't escape from life. It's participation in its deepest form, and if you listen closely, in that borderland between dreaming and waking, you can almost hear it, the faint crackle of neurons transferring memories, the whisper of your mind rearranging itself. Now, imagine yourself standing again in that great library. Only this time, the candles flicker brighter, the shelves shimmer, and you realize that every memory is alive, pulsing with color and sound. You reach for a book, open it, and find it rewriting itself as you read. That's what your brain is doing now, weaving your story anew, one breath at a time. And as the night deepens, and the rhythm of your heartbeat syncs with the waves of your sleeping mind, you can rest knowing that even in stillness, you are changing, evolving, healing. In the next part of our journey, we'll travel further into the dream world's hidden laboratories, where your brain experiments with reality itself, bending time, emotion, and identity to create meaning out of mystery. So let your mind drift deeper now into that quiet place between memory and imagination, where the past is washed clean and the future begins to take form. Have you ever wondered why we dream? Not just what dreams are, but why your mind insists on creating worlds every night while you sleep? Have you ever felt a dream so vivid that it lingered like perfume after waking? Or one so strange that you couldn't tell if it was trying to tell you something? Tonight, we drift deeper into the ocean of the unconscious, into the labyrinth where reason dissolves and imagination rules, into the secret workshop of the dreaming brain. Picture yourself floating through an endless twilight landscape, the air thick with mist. Faint shapes flicker in the distance, a forest that shifts when you blink, a city dissolving into stars, a face you almost recognize but can't quite name. This is the territory of REM sleep, the stage where dreams are born. Your body lies still, muscles paralyzed by design, so you don't act out your dreams, but your brain becomes almost as active as when you're awake. In some ways, even more so, the limbic system, seat of emotion and memory, bursts to life. While the logical prefrontal cortex goes quiet, it's as if a gatekeeper steps aside, and suddenly the mind's wildest theater opens. Inside that theater, fragments of memory, emotion, and imagination are stitched together by your sleeping brain. It's not random, though it can feel that way. Your brain takes loose ends from waking life and weaves them into dream sequences that test, heal, and sometimes worn. Psychologists once believed dreams were nonsense, static from a resting mind. But neuroscience has revealed something far more profound. Dreams are functional. They are your brain's form of overnight simulation. As you sink into the first stages of sleep, your brain begins a process so intricate it feels almost magical. Neurons in the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, start to replay the patterns of your day, like echoes of lived experience. Scientists have observed this phenomenon in real time in sleeping mice. Their neurons fire in the same sequence they did while running a maze, only faster, compressed into bursts of electrical rhythm. It's as if the mind is rehearsing the day's story one last time before deciding what to keep. During non-REM deep sleep, waves of synchronized activity ripple across your brain, slow, rolling oscillations that sweep through the cortex like tides. Each wave carries fragments of memory from the hippocampus outward, distributing them across the neocortex, where long-term memories live. This process is called memory consolidation, and it's the reason you can remember a new skill, a piece of music, or a conversation long after you've learned it. But not everything survives this nocturnal editing. The brain is selective, even ruthless. Trivial details are quietly erased. Redundant information fades. The emotional tone of certain memories is softened. While others are reinforced, you might think forgetting is a flaw. But it's one of nature's most elegant designs. Without forgetting, the mind would drown in its own data. Sleep acts as a sculptor, chipping away the unnecessary so the essential can shine. Imagine a sculptor standing before a massive block of marble, every strike of the chisel revealing the hidden form within. That's what your brain does each night, carving clarity out of chaos. But memory consolidation isn't just about storing facts. It's about transformation. The brain doesn't simply replay the past, it reshapes it. Neurons from unrelated memories sometimes fire together during sleep, creating unexpected connections. This is why creativity often blooms after rest, why solutions appear in dreams or upon waking. It's the brain's way of weaving new patterns from old threads. In REM sleep, this process becomes even more mysterious. The limbic system responsible for emotion becomes highly active, while the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic, stays subdued. This unique combination allows emotional memories to be reprocessed, softened, and reframed. It's why heartbreak dulls with time, or why something that once filled you with anxiety slowly loses its sting. Sleep, in this way, is therapy written in biochemistry. Your brain revisits painful experiences, replays them in dreamlike fragments, and literally rewires the emotional charge they carry. Neurochemicals, like norepinephrine, linked to stress, are nearly absent during REM, creating a safe space for emotional detox. It's as if your dreams are the mind's way of whispering, "It's okay. You can let this go now." Some memories, however, resist erasure. They linger, haunting the edges of consciousness, especially those tied to trauma. Researchers studying PTSD have found that the natural rhythm of sleep, particularly REM, is disrupted in people who suffer from it. The brain struggles to complete its emotional rewiring, leaving memories raw and unprocessed, and yet, even this reveals the profound intelligence of sleep. It doesn't just help us remember, it helps us heal. Think of the mind as a vast network of constellations. Each star a memory, each connection a story. Every night, sleep rearranges those constellations, gently shifting their positions, sometimes merging them, sometimes dimming them, so that when you wake, the night sky inside you has subtly changed. You might not remember your dreams, but they've already rewritten you. There's a quiet beauty in this, the idea that you are never quite the same person who went to sleep. Your mind is in constant revision, always editing, always refining, always turning experience into understanding. Have you ever woken up with a strange calm after a long, difficult day? That's not just rest, it's neurochemical alchemy. Imagine your dreams as training grounds, places where the mind rehearses for survival. In one experiment, researchers found that people who dreamt of performing a new skill, like playing piano or navigating mazes, improved at it faster when awake. Your sleeping brain was practicing, literally reinforcing neural pathways through imagined action. But dreams do more than rehearse, they regulate. When you face emotional upheaval in waking life, your brain revisits those feelings at night, blending them with symbolic images to neutralize their sting. This is why heartbreak, fear, and loss often appear disguised in dreams, not as punishment, but as therapy. REM sleep is your mind's emotional detox chamber. Think about that recurring dream you've had, maybe of falling or running, but never reaching your destination. Those dreams are echoes of unresolved stress cycles, your brain revisiting them again and again, gently trying to complete a story that was never finished. And sometimes, after one such dream, you wake lighter, as if something old has finally exhaled. But there's something even stranger, the way dreams distort time. Have you ever noticed how an entire story unfolds in seconds before you wake? Neuroscientists suggest that dreams compress experience, packing hours of narrative into moments, as though your mind exists outside of the clock. Perhaps that's why dreams feel eternal yet fleeting, vast yet contained. And then there's the question of lucid dreaming. Moments when you suddenly realize, I'm dreaming. And within that realization, gain control in that lucid state. Your consciousness reawakens inside the dream. You can fly, breathe underwater, walk through walls, even ask your subconscious questions. It's one of the few times science has recorded awareness existing within unconsciousness. During lucid dreaming, the prefrontal cortex flickers back to life. Logic returns, but you remain inside the landscape of imagination. It's a state both fragile and exhilarating. Ancient traditions saw it as a spiritual practice, a bridge between waking and mystical realms. Buddhists called it dream yoga, a way to awaken within illusion itself. Modern science studies it too, measuring how lucid dreamers can control their eye movements during sleep to communicate with researchers. Imagine two worlds intersecting, the sleeping mind and waking science meeting in the same breath. Yet, for all our knowledge, dreams remain elusive. Neuroscientists can map their electrical patterns, but not their meanings. Your dreams are yours alone, encrypted by your memories, emotions, and hidden desires. What if dreams are not random at all, but conversations between layers of your own mind? The conscious speaking with the subconscious in a language of symbols and metaphor. The falling dream might not be about danger, but surrender, The ocean dream might not be about water, but depth, the doorway, perhaps, about change. Your brain evolved this strange mechanism not just to survive, but to understand. Every night, while your body rests, your mind stages quiet plays about your fears, your hopes, your relationships, and lets you safely rehearse them. It's the oldest form of introspection. And here's a thought. What if reality itself is just another layer of dreaming? Physicist Erwin Schrödinger once said, "The total number of minds in the universe is one." Perhaps dreams are where that unity slips through. A reminder that the boundaries between self and cosmos are thinner than we imagine. Dreams can also solve problems. Artists, scientists, and inventors throughout history have received insights from them. Paul McCartney dreamed the melody of yesterday. Dmitri Mendeleev saw the periodic table in a vision. Even Einstein spoke of ideas that came to him half dreaming, as if creativity is strongest when reason sleeps. It makes sense because during REM, the brain's association networks run wild, connecting ideas that waking logic would dismiss. That's why dreams are filled with strange juxtapositions, where a childhood home becomes a spaceship, where a stranger wears the face of someone you lost, where impossible things make perfect sense. And beneath it all lies a question, older than civilization. Who is the dreamer? Are you the author of your dreams, or merely their audience? When you awaken from a nightmare, heart racing, it feels like something other than you was directing it. An unseen playwright using your memories as material. Some neuroscientists propose that dreaming is the brain's attempt to maintain consciousness when the world shuts down, a rehearsal for waking awareness. Others believe it's the mind's way of exploring possible futures, testing what might be before you live it. Whatever the truth, dreams are evidence of something extraordinary. Your consciousness is not a single thing, but a vast ocean, and waking life is only the surface beneath it. Endless worlds unfold every night that you are drifting through that inner ocean. Soft light filtering through waves of thought, voices from forgotten days echo faintly, and somewhere beyond the horizon of memory, you sense the shape of a question forming, a question your waking mind has never dared to ask. In this quiet place, you realize that dreaming is not an escape from life, but part of it. Your dreams are your soul, speaking in chemistry and color. They are your truest mirror, reflecting both your shadows and your light. So, as you drift deeper tonight, remember this: each dream you enter is an invitation, a message, a map written in symbols that only your heart can read. And as the final images fade, the next mystery begins to awaken. What happens when we dream of the future? When the mind glimpses something that hasn't yet come to pass? In the next part of our journey, we'll explore the frontier between dreaming and intuition, between sleep and prophecy, where the brain, the soul, and time itself seem to blur. Now rest, let your breathing slow, and allow your mind to wander into its own cinema, where your deepest truths unfold in silence, one shimmering vision at a time. Have you ever woken from a dream that felt like a warning? A whisper from the future, wrapped in shadow and symbol. Maybe it was a face you'd never seen before, only to meet them weeks later. Or a place you'd never been, only to stand there one day and remember the dream tonight. We drift into one of the most mysterious frontiers of consciousness, the phenomenon of precognitive dreaming, where the mind seems to glimpse beyond time itself. Picture yourself standing in a wide, quiet desert. The stars shimmer like scattered neurons, pulsing with invisible information. You feel the wind move across your skin, gentle, ancient, filled with something unspoken. The horizon stretches endlessly. Yet you sense that everything, every grain of sand, every flicker of starlight is somehow connected. Time itself feels fluid here, like a tide that moves both forward and backward. This is the realm of temporal perception, the brain's mysterious sense of time and how it sometimes falters in dreams. In waking life, your perception of time is linear, ruled by the ticking of clocks and the sequence of cause and effect. But when you sleep, that structure dissolves. Neurons no longer constrained by logic begin to fire in patterns that disregard chronology. The past and present blend, and occasionally, fragments of what might happen appear, as if your subconscious is assembling probabilities into visions. Scientists studying this phenomenon remain cautious, yet fascinated. They call it anticipatory processing, a term meant to describe how the brain predicts outcomes based on data it already holds. Perhaps, in dreams, those predictions manifest as imagery, emotional scenes that later resemble future events, but to the dreamer, they feel prophetic. Still, the boundary between coincidence and insight remains paper-thin. In 1966, a psychiatrist named John Barker collected over 100 accounts of people who dreamt of the Aberfan mining disaster in Wales, a tragedy that killed 144 people, mostly children. One woman described a dream in which something black poured down the mountain and swallowed the village. She awoke weeping the morning it happened. Similar reports surfaced after 9/11s, after tsunamis, even before political upheavals. Always the same pattern: ordinary people dreaming of extraordinary disasters. Skeptics call it pattern recognition, the brain's obsession with finding meaning. Believers call it psychic resonance, a kind of unconscious entanglement between minds. But perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, inside your sleeping brain. Billions of neurons exchange information faster than lightning. Networks responsible for memory, emotion, and imagination intertwine, forming temporary bridges between unrelated thoughts. One of those bridges might connect what you've seen with what you sense, what you fear with what's coming. Dreaming, in this sense, becomes a laboratory for time, a place where your brain runs infinite simulations, exploring what could happen, what should happen, and what must be avoided. Imagine a river winding through a dense forest at night, moonlight shimmering on the surface. Every twist and bend represents a possible future. As you dream, you drift along that river, glimpsing reflections of paths your waking self has not yet walked. Quantum physicists might call it the many worlds interpretation, where every possible outcome exists simultaneously. Perhaps dreams let you wander through those alternate branches, feeling their weight before choosing which one becomes real. It's tempting to dismiss this as poetry. But the science of predictive coding offers a fascinating parallel. Your brain, even while awake, constantly forecasts what will happen next, predicting the next word in a conversation, the next step on a staircase, the next move of a friend's expression. Dreams may amplify that ability, unconstrained by the filters of reason. Your subconscious gathers subtle cues from waking life, micro-expressions, tone, context, and assembles them into symbolic narratives that appear prophetic. A dream about a crashing wave might be your brain warning you of emotional overwhelm. A burning house might symbolize a situation spiraling out of control. Yet sometimes these metaphors align eerily with real-world events, leading to that chilling sense of déjà vu. What if déjà vu itself is the echo of a forgotten dream? The moment your waking life steps into a scene your mind has already simulated. You've felt it before, the strange stillness when everything feels pre-written, when you look around and know what will happen next. Your conscious mind catches up to something your subconscious has already experienced. The timeline folding briefly in on itself. But there's another layer, the emotional gravity of these dreams. Have you noticed that premonitory dreams often carry a weight, a solemnity, as if the dream itself knows it must be remembered? Neuroscientists suggest that emotionally charged dreams are stored differently, embedded deeper in long-term memory, perhaps because the limbic system, alive with feeling, marks them as important. In ancient cultures, this mystery wasn't seen as coincidence, but communication. The Greeks built temples called Asclepions, where dreamers would sleep to receive healing visions. The Egyptians recorded dream prophecies on papyrus scrolls, and the Aboriginal peoples of Australia spoke of the dream time, a sacred space where ancestors and future generations coexisted. To them, time wasn't a line, it was a circle. What if, deep down, your brain still remembers that ancient truth during REM sleep? The same neurochemicals that regulate attention and learning, a dopamine surge, allowing the mind to form new associations. It's possible that, in these moments, the brain's predictive mechanisms reach their most creative state, piecing together complex emotional, sensory, and intuitive data into symbolic visions that resemble prophecy. And yet, some dreams defy all logic, dreams that warn, protect, or reveal. There are accounts of people changing travel plans after dreaming of an accident, only to later discover it happened. Others who dream of illnesses in loved ones before diagnosis. These are rare, but they haunt even the most rational scientists, because they hint at something unmeasured. Perhaps the dreaming brain is not limited by the present. Perhaps, in that deep chemical theater of the night, consciousness expands beyond the illusion of time, touching something timeless, a network of possibility. Imagine consciousness as a vast web, each mind a glowing thread, and dreams as the moments when those threads hum in resonance, exchanging whispers of potential futures, whether symbolic or literal. The function remains. Dreams prepare you, they whisper. Look closer, be aware. Trust what you feel. There's comfort in that, because it means that even in your deepest sleep, your mind is watching out for you, protecting, predicting, guiding. And maybe that's why some dreams leave you with a feeling rather than a memory, a quiet nudge that alters your choices the next day, a softness that turns avoidance into courage. So tonight, as you drift deeper, imagine time itself softening, no longer a straight line but a circle of light, your dreams flowing through it like water, touching past, present, and future at once. Breathe slowly. Feel the air move in rhythm with the universe. And remember, the future is not fixed. It's fluid, waiting to be shaped by your awareness. In the next chapter of our journey, we'll descend even deeper, beyond time and prediction, into the biological architecture of the dream itself, how your brain constructs entire worlds from fragments of memory and light, how it paints landscapes from nothingness, and why those illusions feel as real as waking life. So rest now, let go of the need to understand, and let your dreams do what they've always done: teach you, protect you, and remind you that you are more than the hours that pass. You are part of the timeless rhythm that dreams you into being. Have you ever wondered what happens in your mind when you dream, when reality bends and the impossible feels utterly ordinary? When time loses meaning and you find yourself in worlds that exist only in the theater of your own brain? Tonight, we'll drift into that mysterious space where science, memory, and imagination entwine. Dreams are among the most fascinating frontiers of neuroscience, the most intimate cinema, directed and acted by your own mind, projected behind closed eyes. And yet, every night, as your body rests and your consciousness dissolves, something extraordinary unfolds inside your brain's quiet corridors. Let's explore how and why that happens. Picture yourself lying beneath a soft blanket, the room dim and peaceful. Outside, the world is still. The air carries a subtle hush, a silence that feels sacred. Your breathing slows, rhythmic and deep, and your thoughts, those daytime companions that once rushed and tangled, begin to dissolve into mist. You drift further inward, into the liminal space between waking and sleeping. Here, colors shimmer, sounds merge, logic softens. You are entering the stage of dreaming, the REM state, the paradoxical sleep where your mind is most awake even as your body rests in utter stillness. The brain becomes a painter, a composer, and a storyteller all at once, building vivid worlds out of fragments of memory and imagination. This is REM, rapid eye movement sleep, one of the most mysterious rhythms of human biology. During this stage, your brain waves resemble those of wakefulness, pulsing with high-frequency activity, yet your muscles are temporarily paralyzed. A built-in safeguard to keep you from acting out your dreams. The body is frozen, but the mind is incandescent, alive with imagery and narrative. In these moments, your brain's biochemistry dances to a strange rhythm. Acetylcholine surges, dopamine flickers, norepinephrine dips, serotonin fades. Each chemical shift alters the texture of consciousness, shaping what we see, feel, and remember in the dream world. Dreaming isn't random chaos, though it feels like it. Studies suggest that during REM, the brain's emotional centers, especially the amygdala and limbic system, light up, processing feelings and memories from waking life. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, becomes quiet. It's as if your emotional world is given free rein while logic gently bows out, allowing images and memories to blend freely. That's why dreams can be wildly illogical, yet deeply meaningful, because they are emotional truths, not literal ones. The brain is storytelling in metaphors. A locked door might represent anxiety. A sudden flight could symbolize liberation. Each image is a whisper from the subconscious. Translated into symbols, the waking mind struggles to interpret. And what about those dreams that feel impossibly real? The ones where you can taste, smell, even feel textures. That vividness arises because sensory regions of your brain remain active. The visual cortex paints scenes in full color. The auditory cortex composes background soundscapes. The hippocampus, which organizes memory, rearranges real experiences into surreal juxtapositions. And deep in the brainstem, the pons triggers those rapid eye movements that mirror the motion of your dream gaze. You are, in essence, seeing with your brain, not your eyes. The mind becomes a projector, and consciousness becomes the screen. Scientists believe that dreaming serves several vital functions. It consolidates memory, sorting through the clutter of the day, discarding the unnecessary, and storing the essential. It regulates emotions, replaying distressing experiences in a safe, simulated space, allowing you to process them without harm. And it sparks creativity by connecting disparate ideas that your waking mind might never link. Many discoveries and artistic visions have emerged from dreams. Einstein's insight into relativity, Paul McCartney's melody for Yesterday, even the structure of benzene revealed itself to a chemist in a dream. Dreams, in that sense, are your brain's secret workshop, a place where chaos breeds understanding. But what about nightmares? Those darker tales the mind sometimes tells. Even they serve a purpose. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, replays threatening situations as rehearsal, a kind of emotional training ground. In ancient times, this might have helped humans prepare for danger. Today, it may help you process stress or trauma, though the experience feels anything but restful. When you awaken from a nightmare, your heart racing. It's the sympathetic nervous system surging back online, adrenaline spiking briefly before calm returns. Yet even these unsettling dreams are part of your brain's effort to heal itself, to integrate pain into narrative form. There's a strange paradox at play. The dream state mimics psychosis, hallucinations, delusions, emotional intensity, yet it is essential for mental stability. When scientists deprive subjects of REM sleep, irritability, confusion, and cognitive decline soon follow. The brain needs to dream. It's part of emotional regulation, neural maintenance, and even learning. In fact, studies show that students who get a full night's sleep after studying perform significantly better, because the brain replays and strengthens neural connections during REM. Your sleeping mind is an editor, refining the script of your day's experiences into coherent memory. Lucid dreaming adds another layer of wonder. This is when you become aware that you're dreaming and sometimes even gain control over the narrative. It's a remarkable hybrid state. Your prefrontal cortex reactivates while REM continues, allowing conscious reasoning within the dream world. Practitioners describe flying, exploring impossible landscapes, or confronting fears directly. Neuroscientists have confirmed lucid dreaming's unique signature, a blend of waking and dreaming brain patterns. It's consciousness turned inward, aware of its own illusion. A self-aware dreamer is a poet walking through their own imagination, sculpting meaning from mist. In poetic reflection, dreaming reveals something profound, that consciousness is not a fixed light, but a flickering flame, capable of shifting between dimensions of experience. In waking life, we move through logic and structure. In dreams, we dissolve into metaphor and memory. The boundary between the two is thin as an eyelid. The same neurons that fire when you move your hand also fire when you dream of moving it. The same emotional circuits that spark in love or fear replay themselves in silent theater each night. In dreams, you are both actor and audience, creator and creation. Perhaps, in this nightly surrender, we glimpse the essence of being, that we are stories told by our own minds. As you drift further into tonight's rest, your thoughts may already be softening into symbols, your body into stillness. The hum of the outside world fades. You are safe, floating in biochemistry and memory. The stage is set, and your inner storyteller is ready. The next chapter of your consciousness is about to unfold, a place where reason sleeps and imagination reigns. Let's follow that current deeper still, into the quiet, shimmering fabric of sleep itself, where molecules, memories, and mysteries entwine in eternal rhythm. Have you ever wondered what truly happens during deep sleep, that heavy, timeless state when even dreams fade into darkness, and you awaken hours later with no memory of where your mind has been? What if I told you that this is the moment when your body performs miracles, repairing, cleansing, and resetting itself at a molecular level? Tonight, we descend into the quietest, deepest layers of your sleep cycle, where time stretches thin and your body's chemistry transforms you from weary to renewed, from chaos to balance, from noise to stillness. Picture yourself in a forest at midnight. The world around you is blanketed in moonlight and silence. The air is cool, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. You walk slowly through the trees, your footsteps muffled by moss, the ground soft beneath you. The stars above are still, as if holding their breath. Somewhere nearby, water trickles, a faint, steady rhythm, like the pulse of the earth. That rhythm is your heartbeat, steady and slow. The forest is your body, the streams are your blood, and every cell within you glows faintly like fireflies, working tirelessly while your consciousness drifts further away. You are entering the slow wave stage, the deepest sleep your body knows, where everything changes quietly, invisibly, perfectly. As your brain slips into this slow wave state, its electrical activity changes dramatically. High-frequency patterns give way to vast, rolling waves, delta waves, each one a gentle surge of synchronized neuron activity sweeping across your cortex. These waves are the heartbeat of restoration. During this time, your brain's energy consumption drops by nearly 40%, allowing it to divert power to maintenance and repair. Microglial cells, the janitors of your nervous system, begin their sacred work, clearing away metabolic waste and damaged proteins that accumulate during wakefulness. Among them is a particularly notorious molecule, beta amyloid, a byproduct linked to Alzheimer's when it builds up unchecked. During deep sleep, your glymphatic system, a hidden network of channels around your brain's blood vessels, flushes it away like a tide washing the shore. At the core of this biological rhythm lies a tiny cluster of neurons in your brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, nestled within the hypothalamus, just above where your optic nerves cross. This cluster, no larger than a grain of rice, is your master clock. It receives direct signals from your eyes, sensing light even when they're closed. When dawn arrives, light enters the retina and travels down special nerve pathways to the SCN, which in turn resets your entire body's internal schedule. Like a conductor tapping the baton, it synchronizes every cellular rhythm in your organs. Skin, and brain, telling them, it's time to wake, it's time to begin again. When the sun fades, the process reverses. Darkness falls, and the SEN sends a message to your pineal gland, triggering the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone. Your core temperature drops slightly, signaling to your muscles and metabolism that the time for energy is over and the time for restoration has begun. Even your digestive enzymes slow their work. Your body enters a nightly transformation, slipping quietly into its nocturnal phase. But what's truly mesmerizing is that this rhythm persists even in the absence of light. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station, for instance, experience 16 sunrises and sunsets every 24 hours, and yet their circadian rhythms still follow a roughly 24-hour pattern. That's because your biological clock is not just responding to light, it anticipates it, predicting day and night as though it remembers the very first sunrise in Earth's history. This rhythm isn't limited to sleep and wakefulness. It orchestrates countless physiological processes. Blood pressure rises in the morning to prepare for movement. Cortisol peaks to energize your brain. Digestion quickens and attention sharpens. As evening approaches, everything begins to slow. Insulin sensitivity decreases, reaction times lengthen, body temperature drops. The entire body hums in harmony with the Earth's rotation. But here's where it becomes even more extraordinary. This internal clock exists not just in the brain, but in every single cell. Each cell contains its own mini-clock, a network of genes and proteins that oscillate in 24-hour cycles. Responding to signals from the SEN, it's as if your body were a vast orchestra, with billions of tiny musicians keeping perfect time, guided by one invisible conductor. The genes that control these rhythms are known as clock genes, timelessly poetic in name and function. They operate through a self-regulating loop. Certain proteins build up during the day, reaching a critical level that suppresses their own production by night, only to fade and restart the cycle again by dawn. This molecular dance has been conserved for billions of years, shared by plants, animals, fungi, even bacteria that drifted in ancient oceans long before humans existed. Every living thing that has ever basked in sunlight follows this same universal rhythm. It is the heartbeat of the planet itself, echoing in your veins. But when that rhythm falters, when modern life pulls us away from the cycle of light and dark, chaos begins. Artificial light, irregular sleep, late-night screens, all these confuse the SEN, throwing your biochemistry into disarray. Cortisol may spike at midnight. Melatonin may never fully rise. The body becomes unsynchronized with itself, leading to fatigue, anxiety, mood swings, and even long-term illness. Studies show that chronic circadian disruption, like that experienced by shift workers, increases the risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and depression. It's as if the symphony begins to play out of tune, the instruments drifting apart, no longer guided by the same rhythm. And yet, the beauty of the human body lies in its ability to retune itself. With just a few nights of proper rest and natural darkness, the internal clock begins to find its way back, realigning to the ancient pattern it has followed for millennia. Imagine for a moment what this truly means, that within you exists an echo of the planet's own rotation. Every 24 hours, your cells mark time not by mechanical precision, but by the gentle ebb and flow of biochemistry. It's an elegant paradox, a system both fragile and enduring, delicate and timeless. The same rhythm that guides your sleep guided the blooming of prehistoric flowers, the migration of early mammals, the heartbeat of ancient oceans. In every living thing that has ever known, night and day, this same rhythm pulses. You are, quite literally, in tune with the cosmos. And as your body drifts toward sleep tonight, your circadian rhythm is preparing the stage. Melatonin rises like a soft tide, washing through your bloodstream. Core temperature continues to dip, signaling muscles to relax. Heart rate slows. Brain activity begins to sync with slower, deeper waves. Every molecule in your being is following an invisible choreography, a nightly ritual older than language, older than life as we know it. You don't need to think about it. You don't even need to believe in it. It simply is. The chemistry of time itself unfolding within you, perhaps then. Sleep is not merely rest, but a form of surrender to universal rhythm. When you sleep, you are not stepping away from the world, but aligning with it, moving in harmony with a pattern that has guided life since the dawn of existence. In every breath you take tonight, the earth turns once more beneath you. In every heartbeat, your inner clock ticks softly in time with the stars. The boundary between self and cosmos dissolves. You are the rhythm, the pulse, the breath of the living universe. So as you lie there now, letting your body sink deeper into the mattress, feeling your heartbeat slow and your breath grow still, remember that you are participating in something vast and ancient. You are not falling out of sync. You are coming home to it. The rhythm that began with the first sunrise is still unfolding within you. The biochemistry of sleep is not just about rest. It's about connection, renewal, alignment. Let your mind drift with the turning of the earth, your breath moving with the tide of night, your heart whispering in rhythm with the stars, as the great clock of life carries you gently, effortlessly, into another perfect night of cosmic sleep. It's extraordinary. Your brain literally cleans itself while you sleep. Cerebrospinal fluid pulses rhythmically through your neural tissue, clearing debris and restoring chemical balance. This cleansing doesn't happen when you're awake. It requires the precise choreography of slow-wave sleep. Every night you rest deeply. You are, in a sense, renewing your mind from within, washing away the noise of consciousness. The deeper you go, the slower your pulse, the steadier your breath, the calmer your biochemistry becomes. Cortisol, the stress hormone, declines to its lowest point. Growth hormone surges, repairing tissues, building muscle, regenerating skin. Your immune cells awaken, patrolling the bloodstream like silent sentinels. Even your DNA repairs itself more efficiently under the biochemistry of deep sleep, as if nature designed this nightly descent for healing at every level. And yet, despite its tranquility, this phase is anything but passive. Within your neurons, the balance of ions shifts dramatically. Potassium flows outward, calcium inward, resetting electrical potentials for the next day's thoughts and actions. Synapses, the connections between neurons, are carefully pruned. Those that were weak or unused begin to fade, while those tied to meaningful learning are strengthened. This sculpting of the mind, called synaptic homeostasis, ensures that your brain remains efficient, preventing mental overload. Every night, you forget just enough to make room for new understanding. And in that forgetting lies clarity. Imagine for a moment that your consciousness is floating above this landscape, watching from within. You can almost see the flickering lights of neuronal activity slowing to a calm rhythm, like a city dimming its lights after midnight. Streets empty, noise fades, and only the essential systems remain running, cleaning, maintaining, repairing. The city sleeps, but it's far from idle. The dreamers above may be exploring impossible worlds, but deep within, your biology is restoring the foundation of your mind's architecture. Even your heart and blood vessels benefit profoundly during this stage. Blood pressure drops, giving your arteries a chance to rest. Inflammatory markers decrease, reducing long-term risks of disease. The heart beats in a slow, steady cadence, a nocturnal symphony of renewal. For centuries, mystics and poets have described sleep as a small death, but in truth, it's the opposite. Deep sleep is the essence of life, the pulse of restoration that makes all waking possible. But there's mystery in this stillness, too. Why does the mind go dark? Why are there no dreams, no stories, no images? Neuroscientists suspect that consciousness itself may require a certain level of neural noise, that when the brain's waves slow enough, that flickering light of awareness simply can't sustain itself. In that darkness, the self dissolves. There is no you, only the quiet harmony of biology in perfect rhythm. For a few hours each night, you cease to be a story and become a process, a symphony of molecules. You are awareness, unmade and remade. Some traditions describe this as the closest the living mind comes to transcendence. The Upanishads speak of deep, dreamless sleep as the gateway to the soul, a place beyond thought, beyond identity, where pure existence rests. In modern neuroscience, this aligns with what's called neural silence, when large regions of the cortex temporarily disconnect, creating an experience of nothingness that the waking mind can never recall. It's the purest form of rest, unreachable while awake, indescribable afterward. You can't remember it, but you feel its effects, the clarity, the lightness, the subtle sense of being refreshed, not just in body, but in spirit. And perhaps that's the most beautiful paradox of all, that the deepest form of awareness is achieved when awareness itself vanishes, that you become most fully alive when you surrender completely to unconsciousness. Each night, you walk that invisible threshold, trusting that you'll return, and you always do, renewed, reset, restored. Your mind, your body, your biochemistry all dance together in ancient rhythm, one as old as the first heartbeat, the first breath, the first night. So as you lie here now, listening, breathing, slowly dissolving into that same gentle darkness, remember this: you are not merely falling asleep. You are entering the core of existence's oldest ritual, the sacred stillness where life repairs itself. Every heartbeat, every slow wave, every chemical pulse carries you deeper into balance. In this space, there is no need to control, no need to strive, no need to remember. Only rest, and as the last threads of consciousness slip away, know that your body knows the way, guided by ancient rhythms written into your DNA. The biochemistry of sleep is not random. It's your inheritance, your home, your sanctuary. Now, let go completely. Feel your breath steady. Feel your body grow warm and weightless. Let the deep waves carry you inward, past memory, past thought, into the silent ocean of renewal, where life itself dreams you back into being. Have you ever wondered what happens when your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm, begins its nightly symphony? What invisible forces draw you toward sleep as the sun disappears, guiding every cell in your body into a synchronized rhythm of rest and renewal? Tonight we journey into the deep machinery of time itself, not the ticking of clocks, but the biological rhythm written into your DNA. It's the oldest timekeeper on Earth, a silent conductor that governs your heartbeat, your hormones, your temperature, even the chemistry of your thoughts. The circadian rhythm, your body's secret metronome, is far more than just feeling sleepy at night. It is the pulse of life, the bridge between sunlight and soul. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast desert just before sunrise. The air is cool and still, the stars fading one by one into the growing light. You can feel the earth waking beneath your feet, a subtle vibration, like something ancient stirring. As the first rays of dawn spill over the dunes, everything begins to change. The sand warms, the wind shifts, birds cry out. It is not just the desert waking, it's the entire planet aligning with the cycle of the sun. Deep within your body, a similar awakening happens every morning, guided by a molecular orchestra so precise it keeps time without a single conscious thought from you.